It's Saturday. It's 9 p.m. in Old Blighty. We're live, so it must mean it's time yet again for another edition of The War Room. I hope you're all doing well and tickety-boo, as we say. We've got already in the chat, we've got 34 people watching. We've got loads of going on in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. And as always, we're coming to you in that glorious 720p. Chaps, how are you? We've got ID Jester here, Nate, and our special guest, Thomas, all the way from Sweden, with his new game we'll be talking about later on in the show. But first, Jester, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I've been a little bit under the weather today, just not feeling 100% great, but I'm hanging in there and got to play another game with Cardboard Commander. We played a gist of Robin Hood. It's right here. A gist of Robin Hood. And when I got this, I was super excited to play it. I never got around to playing it. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to learn it. I'll tell you what, it is a great game to sit down and play and learn. It's not very hard. I could literally probably teach somebody in 10 minutes how to play it. And if you're familiar with the coin games, it's kind of what I would call coin lightish. It's not the same system, but it uses the same mechanics.
Sorry, yeah, it's the same. It's the same series as that one I can never pronounce.
Vijay Nagara.
Yes, it's the same. It's the irregular conflict series.
Yes. They're starting a new kind of coin light system series of games. But I if you've never played coin, it's still worth trying it because it'll get you to understand the basic concepts of how to play. And we had a great time playing. And once again, I was victorious. And I take this with an asterisk, though, because I had played coin. He had never played coin. So it kind of gave me an unfair advantage because I was kind of prepared to kind of understanding what I should do or shouldn't do. And
you had the background.
I'm sorry?
You had the background in coin, so you
I had a background, so I kind of knew, okay, it's kind of a couple step process. You bring guys on the board, then you move the guys around, then you destroy the enemy. That's kind of what you're trying to do as the sheriff. And as the Robin Hood player, I'm trying to sneak around and turn all the people against him. And his job is to kind of expand out to kind of stop me. It was a great game. I really, really like it. And it plays 40 minutes. You can play a game in 40 minutes. So it's not a very long game.
Not a long game.
Cool. I mean, I love the box cover and the way the map looks and everything. I mean, it's a gorgeous game.
Yeah, I'm really glad I played it because, as you said, it's a really nice looking game that's tarot-sized cards, great artwork, great production by GMT. And I just was like, I don't know if I want to spend the time to learn it. So when me and Jerry decided we were going to play it, so we both kind of sat down to learn it ourselves. And we did our usual kind of help one another. I was kind of a little more familiar, so I was kind of giving him some pointers and stuff. But I think there's a scoring mechanism, kind of like a teeter-totter. So if you're more familiar, you can give your opponent a few extra points to kind of balance, to make things a little more balanced. But I would highly recommend you guys check it out.
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to learn how to play it, let me know. I'll
Did you and Cardboard Commander play a Gist of Robin Hood because he was so afraid of coming back to Combat Commander again to play you?
Oh, touche. I
don't know if he's going to play with me anymore because I keep sneaking out a win somehow, and so I know he's had it with me.
That wasn't me.
It's not you.
Cardboard Commander.
What's happened here?
Oh no, we
Well,
lost
Thomas left.
Oh, we've lost. That's what's happened. Then we've lost Thomas.
You booted Thomas. Nice.
No, I didn't boot Thomas.
How could you do that, Ruff? How could you?
There
do
he
that?
is. There he is.
He is.
It knocked me out. Someone booted me.
I don't know. I clicking on
It's-
yes.
it's-
Big
it's
bang. It's
that
not
guy.
me. It's not
that guy.
me.
Well, that was
Yeah,
that was my week. I had a really good week. I did my end of review show. We ended up doing 15 brand new games on the channel in January. We played 55 different games. So we're off to a great start. We talked at the end of 2024 about getting your goals for 2025. And I was right on my goals in January, above where I should be. So way up. So
That's excellent. Well,
how
okay.
you doing?
Before I comment on how my week was, it was great. But Cardboard Commander, no, I'm just messing with you. I love you. I love you. I love his channel. Watched all of his videos. He's a great guy.
Everybody knows that all the comments we make and the chat make against the, between ourselves and between the chat and ourselves is all mucking about, which is what makes this show so popular, I think, because it's just laid back,
We have fun. But
Yeah,
yeah, unfortunately, I didn't really get to play anything this week. So I was glad that I got ahead on my challenge, on the 10-game challenge this previous week. So because I was a little surprised. I wasn't able to really play anything. I'm hoping to get something on the table soon. I'd like to get to the next game on my list, but we'll see. We'll see. Life just happens.
Before you go on, you're on your second game of
I'll be on my fourth now.
Well, hang on a second. You played 2 of your 10-game challenge that you have to complete in a year, and you feel like you are behind schedule because why? You realize you have a year to complete 10 games.
That's true. See, in my mind, I'm at a point where in my dissertation writing where the really hard part will come in around summertime. So in my mind, I want to get through my 10 games through the beginning of the year because I know the other half of the year is going to get really busy.
Yeah, I understand. It's just I've seen a lot of those, and everyone is like going on this 10-game challenge like crazy. I'm like,
it's bonkers, isn't it? On
10 games.
Great,
you guys are going to have your 10 games done in January. What the hell?
Hey, that's great. That's great.
So it'll be a 20-game
really good.
Yeah,
Right?
don't give him ideas, Thomas. Don't give him ideas.
The whole point is we want people to play the war
Right.
games that
And
they have. And they're definitely
crazy.
doing it.
I've got guys posting 4th and 5th game already. I'm like, you guys realize it's not the end of January yet, and you guys are pushing yourselves because remember last year the big complaint was, oh my God, we can't get 10 games done in a year. It's too hard. It's way too hard to do 10 games. That's all we heard was it was too hard. It was too hard. Now we got half the people doing 5 games in 1 month.
It's crazy.
Do we get extra points if we do all 12?
Oh,
No, you don't get extra points if you do all 12.
wow. Well,
But doing extra credit is good for your soul. That's what you're trying to do.
okay. Well, Ruff, how was your week?
Well, I'm going to ask Thomas first, as he's the guest, and ask him what he's been up to lately.
I've just been designing, writing, and working in graphics.
Oh, you boring old thing. Come on, what else have you been doing?
I haven't even
Chasing
been able
girls,
to play
getting
one
drunk.
game.
Come on, what are you doing?
I haven't been able to play one game in my 10-game challenge. Not one. I have yet to play a single game this year. I am just crushing through writing, and I'm on a wave. So what else am I going to do but write?
Well, that's fair.
Ride that way. Yep.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Keep going because you're bringing out some great games. We're going to be talking about one of your new games today, later on in the show. Something, again, completely different to what, you're thinking, oh, but it's not. No. We'll see. I'm not saying any more because I'll give it away. But we have got a quiz that you've put together, Thomas, that we'll do later on as well. And it's a World War I plane quiz. So we've got to guess the World War I plane. So that might give you a clue as to what Thomas's new game is all about. So, leave it there. Me,
how many
well,
people know they're
sorry.
World War I airplanes? Those are tough. I have to say those are.
They are.
Yeah.
We'll start easy, and then
Well-
it'll get steadily more
I'll
difficult.
say every answer is the Red Baron. That's it.
Yeah, Sopwith, if it's a British one, it's Sopwith Camel. Or
Sopwith
if it's
Camel.
an American one, sorry.
Yeah, why is it,
Eddie
why is
Rickenbacker.
it, Thomas, the two things everyone knows is the camel and Red Baron? Why is that? Why do we know nothing else?
Well, he's
suppose
triplane. Yeah, you got the Red Baron's triplane and the Sopwith Camel.
Yeah, then he
Yeah.
went and made pizzas.
it was a guy flying us up.
Yeah,
with
there's a
camel.
brand called Red
down.
Baron Pizza.
Yeah, the guy flying the camel shot down the Red Baron in his triplane.
That's right.
But in fact, the Red Baron did not fly the triplane most of his career.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been an unwieldy thing to fly anyway, with 3 bloody wings to worry about. I know you get the buoyancy and all that, but it must be, I don't know. I'm no expert on aircraft design.
I have a good friend who built one. So
Huh?
I have a good friend who built one.
What a
Fact-
what a flying proper
Yeah,
full,
yeah.
full side. Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
There's
And
actually
it's a handful. It's a handful.
There's a great video on YouTube where Peter. Oh, that's right, Snoopy. Peter Jackson, who really, outside of making films, really is interested in World War I. And he made that World War I documentary that was in theaters. They Shall Not Grow Old.
Mm-hmm.
And great documentary. Anyway, there was a video where he has some replica World War I planes, and he got a bunch of people together, and they did a World War I flying laser tag, and to try actual different tactics in the air of fighting, dogfighting in the air, and it was awesome to watch because they were really trying to get on each other's six and try to shoot each other down, and it was hilarious that you can do that now. You could sort of practice having a real fight with laser tagging.
Yeah. Is that true, Thomas?
He did not fly the Dreidecker for most of his career. He flew other aircraft.
Yeah, keep up.
All right, let's move on. I think we'll talk about it later. I just wanted to kind of ask a quick question.
One thing just occurred to me. I don't know why it's never occurred to me before. With Snoopy and the Red Baron, why did they have Snoopy flying a Sopwith Camel? He should have been flying the Sopwith Pup.
Dun.
Don't try and make Thomas. Leave the jokes to the professionals, please. It's terrible. No, well done. Yes, thanks for asking. This week
we did ask.
I did ask, and then you moved on.
No, I could. I said let's go and do. Ask Thomas. No, again, a bit of videoing, bit of this. Got lots of editing to do. But yesterday, Friday, me and Tony were playing, revisiting Panzer. And we want to get as much as we can out of it, because when you see it on YouTube, it's the tank against tank. And I've done it from playthrough of it, which is one of the most popular blooming videos I've done. Tens of thousands of views. Crazy amount. But we want to introduce, because it says combined arms on the front of the box. So we thought we'd bring some in. So we've got the infantry now. And I know we didn't use them last night, but they're in the trucks behind. The tanks push forward and they're coming behind. We've got some... the Germans have got some Panzerfausts. We've got bazookas. I'm playing the Soviets. We've got bazookas and we've got mortars. So we're going to try and do this because with the infantry, you can close combat or close assault the tanks, or you've got hand-to-hand combat with other infantry and that. So and anti-tank weapons as well. So looking forward to getting into that a bit more. Then we've got aircraft and you've got off-board artillery. So we're doing a real deep dive, me and Tony, into a couple of games that we want to get the most out of, which is what quite a while ago now. We did have that war room of how to play a game or how to play a game, getting the most out of it. So and we also had Camp Sawyer with us. This guy, what Camp Sawyer doesn't know about Panzer, it doesn't need to be known. This guy is on our team there, putting us right. So great fun. It was great fun to get back playing.
Did you get a part of a scenario in then?
Yeah. We're playing the same scenario that we played originally.
Oh, okay, same one, but then you add in the extra.
Yeah, we're coming in from different sides. It's set later because there's only one map in the first Panzer box, which is a bit of a disappointment. But there you go. But it's now using the infantry. So looking forward to seeing how that works out. So that's
nice.
That's my week. Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
Excellent.
I think I've said hello to everybody as we've hello Foxtrot. Yes, you haven't been around for a while.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing I do want to do, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, is kind of let people know out there. I've been hanging out and playing with Cardboard Commander. We need to get this guy some subscribers. He does a great job.
He does
on his channel. He's only got 871 subscribers. He is getting a lot of new people, but I mean, he does a great job. He has a weekly podcast he does himself. And, he's trying to hook up and play with other people as well. So if you're looking to play some stuff, post some comments over there on Cardboard Commander. I think he's about done playing with me, I think. He's doing a really good job. And I said, next time I'm on the War Room, I will try to throw your channel out there and see if we can get you some more subscribers, because he does a really good job. So,
he does have a good channel.
Yeah, really good.
Well,
and
let's say it this way: we've got 64 people watching. 64 people watching this load of old Saturday nonsense. 64 people. Go over to Cardboard Commander, and if you haven't done so already, just subscribe, because these, we do it for the love.
I did forget. I did forget to share. I actually bought something the other day that I know Ruff would appreciate. I will share my screen.
All right.
I bought this.
Wow. Traces of hubris, right?
Yeah, Traces of Hubris. Yeah, Stalingrad campaign. It really seemed interesting, and I've never really played any of the games that's in this series, so I figured I'd give this one a try.
Have you tried it yet?
No, hasn't come yet. Still.
It's not turned up. That's reminded me, the VUCA games that they won, apart from the one that Christoph won. I think Christoph won the one that's not out yet, the new Cold War one. The other two guys have received them and posted their photos, as I requested, on the old Tack Up. So that looks good. I've thanked Patrick, and everything's tickety-boo. So congrats. I'm glad everything turned up.
Yep. And I shipped out the winner of the Flying Pig game from Mark Walker. So thank you for Flying Pig and Mark Walker. Great guy. Does a lot of good for our show. So thank you for him. And Thomas, I'm assuming you got a hold of Mike. I know that I talked to Mike to make sure you got in touch with him about getting him some stuff, which we appreciate your donation as well. I don't know if we've never said that, and you've been more than generous to send us whatever we need, whenever we want. And I just can't accept it anymore because you're just too damn nice.
He goes too far, doesn't he? We have to go.
Yes,
hold on
he's way too nice.
Reel it in.
Oh my God! Stop it! You're driving me crazy, man.
It's business. It's fantastic.
You got to make some money on these things. If you don't, then don't bother.
You guys have been so incredibly supportive to me that I want to just thank you in every way possible. And so I'll thank you right now publicly. Thank you very much. You really have been great for me and my games that I'm writing. It's been fantastic.
You say that now, but I'm doing a review of Tally Ho tomorrow, so we'll see what you have to say then.
Yeah, and I'm doing SOE Lysander as part of my 10-game challenge. So we'll see. We'll see if he's still smiling.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's locked up again.
Yeah, I think he's froze.
Oh, he's not surprised. The grief.
He froze with a smile, though. That's nice.
Yeah,
I'm taking a screenshot.
Yeah,
When might be the last time we see him. I think Ruff said something and pissed him off, and he left.
Yeah, that's why I said, yeah.
Maybe
he's back. He's back.
Maybe he doesn't know what Tides of Iron is. That's what it is.
Sorry,
you're thanking us, and then you just bail on us. That's just like screw them.
I will say, Thomas, I like the painting that's behind you.
Well, thank you. That's one of mine, and that's the large scale tally ho map.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was gonna say it's at the Tally-Ho map. Yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
This one I'm actually selling limited edition sets printed on fabric, on cotton. Beautiful color snap. That's actually one of them.
Ooh.
So
cool. Very cool.
Last time we had you on, you had your artwork behind you. It was different than that one, though. It was a different picture. I remember that.
And I think those were actually posters of from different theater productions I've done.
Oh, okay.
So I did Chess and Singing in the Rain, and another one called All Shook Up.
Yeah, see, Thomas, like me, is a bit of a lovey. He's the thespian, a bit of a performer. So treading the old boards.
And I sing tenor also, but not anywhere near as good as Ruff. He's fantastic.
And Nate, don't you have something to tell the crowd about what you did this yesterday or do you want to announce that or no?
I mean, sure, I can. I mean, it's not done yet. Like it hasn't launched yet. So
but people should know that it's coming.
Yeah.
What's this?
So last night, as I have said before, I'm also on another channel with my friend Ryan called Board Game Bunker, and we started a podcast about 2 years ago, and then life happened, and we weren't able to really get back to it until last night. We filmed our first 4 episodes for our podcast, and we're getting started it back up again, and currently it's being edited and put together and everything, so it'll be uploaded at some point here relatively soon. But yeah, it's finally the lowly member of the War Room is making videos again. So
hey, that's good. It's good to see.
Yeah, no, that's
cool. You don't have to be a video person to be on the channel. I mean, it just so happens that's how me and Ruff met, was because I was doing videos, he was doing videos.
I mean, I got a lot to do if I'm going to catch up to the number of videos you make, though, Jester.
I made 17 last week.
The 2 words obscene amount spring to mind.
Yes, I told Dan it's a good thing you don't post all my, because he every time he comes to me, he says, "Oh my God, Justin, that 1,000,000 videos." I'm not kidding. You got 1,000,000 videos. And so I posted, I said, good thing you didn't cover all 17 videos that I did. Yeah.
So I just looked on your YouTube channel. You have 6.1 thousand videos.
I know, the man's got too much time. Oh, there's a question for you, Thomas.
I'm in Kristianstad in the south, in Skåne. It's the southernmost province. I'm actually much closer to Copenhagen than I am to Stockholm.
Wonderful. Sorry, I had to break it.
I see that we have a Swede in the crowd.
Yes,
here.
that's forgive me.
Magnus,
yes. Yeah, another Swede. We want a few turnips, I think.
Magnus is a great guy, really friendly, very nice, always posting comments. And he always says, Magnus from Sweden. And he's been doing that for years now. So now we know him as Magnus from Sweden. We know
you're from Sweden, Magnus, and we love you. So, but yeah, it's great. I mean, that's what I love about the chat, say 60 odd people. Crazy.
We do have a great chat.
Yeah, we do.
So really. I don't know if we want to do like a question answer time with Thomas, but I this is my first time meeting Thomas, and I'm kind of curious to know, Thomas, your background and how you got into making games, and what kind of is your process to make them? So yeah, kind of an open-ended question.
Oh, they're all coming out the woodwork. Sorry, they're all coming out the woodwork. Good on you.
As for my background, I guess if I told you that, then you'd have to buy me a beer.
No,
he'd have to kill me. That's what he told me. He told me he'd have to kill me if he told me what he used to do.
But I'm a former senior White House official and Defense Department official, and I'm also a pilot. I have pretty much all the ratings. And I did a lot of search and rescue for a time. And I've been running operational programs globally for many, many years. But nowadays I'm retired from all of that, of course. And I decided I would I've been doing history for 27 years and 28 years. And I decided that it was probably a good idea to start writing war games because it's a new way to teach history. And I think it's something that you should consider, Nate.
I would definitely like to at some point.
Yeah, because I don't think that anybody's done Roman war quite correctly yet.
I would agree, especially in war games. Yep.
Yeah, I think it needs to be done by somebody who understands it. I don't understand it. I will not even try to pretend I understand Roman warfare.
It's the ancients is such a mind-boggling thing, you know.
I just want an elephant to ride. That's all.
For you. Yeah, Thomas.
Message me. You put a friend request in on Facebook, and we can talk about it and figure out how to get them to you. These it's backwards. These are on two sizes. This larger size, and then one that's about 2/3 or about 2/3 that size. And I'm also thinking about doing a series of my covers, but they're limited editions, like 10 each. So, but they mail easy because they're on fabric. So
you draw your own covers for your games?
Yeah. All of the art is
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so I'm doing my own art.
He makes the game. He does all the art. He does all the rule booklets. He does all the errata, everything.
Yeah, the errata. I even do the errata just for you, Jester.
I'm sure.
Since his rant,
I don't think there has been any errata. There's been a couple of little bits of sort of typos, but that's
Thomas, what you do is that if you ever include Jester in a game, just do his wrong. He's the only errata.
We've got something for him, haven't we? Later, Thomas. Yes.
I'll misspell it. Yeah.
That's right.
IP Jester.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just call him Uncle Fester.
ID Fester is
yeah.
There we go.
Wow. Wow. I guess it's pick on Jester Day. I guess. Wow.
Well, it goes from me and Nate, doesn't it? I must admit. So yeah. So,
no, but actually, it was his rant on errata that made me really focus on making sure that everything I'm doing, that there is no errata sheets that I'm not coming out with afterwards, and that's really important. I think other games should do much more of that.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I said if you hold people to a higher standard, they will have to perform at a higher level. And I know people say, "Oh, there's always going to be errata." There doesn't always have to be errata. There is, it's a long discussion. We won't go into it right now, but
I think we're due another one in the war room down the road sometime. Another rant. We haven't had a rant for a while.
We haven't had a rant. Yeah.
No.
I've been very calm lately, haven't I? Very calm.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen those different colored card backs for DVG games in a long time. So
I know, right? It's been at least 6 months since I've showed those off.
Alistair, great to see you again, but there's no need for that. No need. I only told you to blow the bloody doors off.
I am serious about our chat, though. Our chat is going through the roof on this challenge, and it is great in my heart because the only reason we decided to do this challenge is to get people to play more games. And they are playing a ton of games. I think at the end of 2025, we're going to have more people saying, I've played more games this year than ever before.
Yep.
And that's why we're doing this. And
I've not clicked so many likes in the last week than I've had before. It's like, God, a new one. So, yeah.
I mean, Ruff, you've even played one on your list already. Normally, it takes you like 6 months to play one.
Yes, see, me and Tony, we had a conflict.
Yeah, you got one on your list already.
We've got Panzer done. Yeah, I've ticked it off.
Yep, I've got two. I don't get two done for. I mean, in the first month, I got two done. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm still waiting until Skies Above Britain's finished.
It'll be done. Do you know what? I'm getting to the stage now.
Just saying.
I know you're just saying. And
Mate, you'll be leaving the
bless
show
your heart.
before
Bless
that
your heart.
finish. Get out of here, man.
That's right. That's why I restarted
Bless your
my
heart.
podcast. You know, with
No,
my
don't
friend.
touch it
Just go.
Yeah. No, I'm
But it'll
looking
be
forward to
good. When it's done, it'll be good.
It'll be good. They're always good by the time it's finished. Anyway, it should be done when it's done, and I'll be quite pleased when it's done. Because
I have shortchanged Nate on his second question, which was my design process.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, we interrupt you. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry,
No,
we do
no,
that.
no,
We
no,
do
no,
that. We
no.
can't help it. Anyway,
But-
rock and load.
Lock and load. Okay. Well, I have a special beer here.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, Waterloo. Wow.
Waterloo beer. It is a double brune from Belgium.
Those Belgiques, they
Those
do make some
Belgians, man.
great beers.
Christopher, I mean, he's probably drinking that himself.
It's a dark one. Lovely.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I think I'll have to let that one settle a little bit.
Yeah, you don't know. You need a bit more practice, Thomas. I think.
So your design process, Thomas.
Yeah, off you
what
go.
do we know? What do we know about your design process?
So the design process begins with the history, begins with research. And I will research the topic as much as I possibly can. And I consume a lot of books. I read a ton of books. And it's gotten to the point where it's almost absurd. I've started to just buy them in Kindle, and I'm highlighting the sections to remind myself to write something in the book. And so then the second portion, the second third of the book, or the third of the book, I should say, is the history section. And I write that first. And based on how that writes out, then I design the gameplay. So the gameplay is actually based on history. It's based on how it actually worked. And I understand airplanes fairly well. So I'm able to bring a kind of a realistic aircraft experience, even without maneuvering, because I'm really tired of maneuvering airplane games. I think, where you're cutting behind the guy and he's turning and, okay, it's exciting, but it takes 4 hours to get to a single shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the exciting part of the game,
that 12 seconds of game is 3 hours. Yeah. It's like crazy.
And so I vowed at the beginning of this to come up with ways to streamline that and to make the mission about as long as make the game about as long as the real mission. So in Tally, if you're not videoing it like Jester, you can play those missions in 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's about the same amount of time it was to take off to landing for those Spitfires.
So I'm kind of curious, when you first started designing, I'm sure the idea of like, what do I have to do is, I'm sure, kind of overwhelming. Of, I need to do, a million different things to have an actual published game. So like, what was sort of the challenges as you began to get into game design? And how did I know each designer overcomes all of the challenges differently? Like, you start with the history, but then do you consider like what kind of mechanics are going to fit that history well? Like what kind of things did you do to kind of get into that game design, especially for your first game? Because it's always a big hurdle to create the first one.
I think my first game that I designed was something around 1975.
Oh, okay.
And the best game I've ever designed, I've never published.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, I'm open to anybody who wants to learn it and play it.
What is it?
It's called Berserk. And
Okay.
actually, Ricard Forlorn who's in the chat, has played it with me, as I recall. And it's related to medieval chess. And it has a game mechanic that I've not even seen written out on Board Game Geek. They have a list of, 40 or 50, 60, 100 game mechanics. And I invented a game mechanic for that one. And then found out that somebody else had invented it 1,000 years ago in Somalia.
Oh.
But it's never been done before. And it's effectively, it's dice controlled movement, not basically you roll dice to determine which piece you're moving. So you roll a pair of dice, and that gives you two options of two different pieces. And the game, the core of the game is roll and move as fast or as slow as you want, without regard to the other person's movement rate, or with regard strategically. And so the games can last 5 minutes, or they can last 45 seconds. That's the most brutal experience you can imagine.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a fun game. But
That's cool.
I've been designing games for many years, but I've never published. And so then I decided I would design and publish. And so that's been really interesting. And, I make my living at this. I'm doing fairly well, actually. So
cool.
It's people told me it was impossible to make a living as a board game designer, and that's not true.
You found a niche. You see, that's the secret. You've got knowledge and you do your research, but you found a niche, the solo book game. And like Mike Lambo, I think he must make a living out of it, because he's got
churning them out.
Yeah. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. But they've got this, and like yourself, you've got this thing, and you're bringing out games, and it's I think it's because of the format. I mean, if you're bringing out a sort of 2-map war game with 6 counter sheets, you couldn't do that every year, so, or even every 6 months or whatever you bring them out with. So I think you've focused on that thing, and it's successful, and they are bloody good games.
Well, thank you.
Well, they are. Otherwise, you wouldn't sell them, would you? Let's be honest.
That's really true. I wouldn't. And they're all unique. None of them are the same.
Yeah.
Like if you
They're
play
not different subjects on the same mechanics. You haven't sort of just. But yeah, and also you bringing out the boxes with the bits in, because not everybody likes to stick and glue and paste and cut. So that was another clever thing. You see.
Yeah, and I do that with Blue Panther. And by the way, with Blue Panther, and Nate is going to be probably going to PresCon in Charlottesville, which is coming up in February.
I might. We'll see.
We are going to do boxed sets with the book.
Oh.
Inside, spiral bound, just for conventions.
Wow.
He's going down the lock and load route. Cheers.
And
any excuse.
The convention version will be the book without the pieces and all of that, because that's in the box.
Yep.
And it's only available at conventions, and the combination cost of the box and the book is about what you'd pay for a normal war game, but in this case we're about $10 cheaper. So you'll also save money. So that'll be a new thing, but only at conventions.
Well, Ruff, you should get your ticket and come on over to the US.
You know what? I was talking to Mrs. Ruff the other day, and just said if I was a little bit younger, I'd pack my bags. I think Europe's had its day, and just toodle on across to Trumpton over there across the pond.
Well, I mean, if you got on a boat, you might be able to row and get across.
No, joking aside, I'd love to come over and spend a good. You'd have to be like 6 months, wouldn't it? Because you couldn't see it all in a couple of weeks. People go on holiday to America a couple of weeks, daft. So
there's not much over here.
No, there's not a lot of space, nothing going on. But yeah, just even to meet some of the guys, because most of my subscribers, and I've got a few from the UK and Europe, and I'm joking about Europe, and I'm just joking, and about England and UK, but most of them are from your side of the pond. So, I'd love to go to WBC, for instance, and meet some people, but it's not cheap,
The Queen Mary 2 is a week of luxury travel, and the round trip cost is about the same as an airline ticket.
There you go.
People don't even know that. So you get a week over and a week back, and eating all the food, wonderful living,
like the heyday of the ocean liner.
Yeah, and it's a lot.
Walking around in tuxedos. All right, my dear. Putting your arm on the railing. Yes. all that sort of thing. Yeah, David Niven and all that. Yeah,
Mhm.
yes.
Just
No,
hope
one day, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, floating with the big wigs. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no, one day we'll do it.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah,
You wait
yeah,
for the
Tony,
iceberg.
Iceberg. Iceberg straight ahead is what you were supposed to say.
I'm a bit old for that, E4. You know, what with my knees, get out of here. But yeah, that was something I'd love to do. Love to come over and see you guys.
if Jester was on the boat, the iceberg would be chasing us down.
Yeah,
Right.
No, I saw that
Oh,
you asked a question.
Christoph,
every week. What's wrong with you?
thank you, Christoph. Oh, dear, oh, law.
So,
Get right across the pond. Wow.
so Ruff, since you're running the show today, did you want to do the quiz, or
No.
what's the next thing on the agenda here?
No, I'm joking. What do you want to do? Something? Should we do? I don't know. I want to leave Thomas's quiz for a little bit later on.
Okay.
And they'll do something. I'll tell you what. I'll do mine. Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
British History Month? Yeah.
British Aviation History Month, I think it is.
Well, it doesn't matter. You've got the two best words in the English language: British and aviation. So there we go. Let's have a look. Not a lot, actually. Again, I don't know what's going on. 1793, 1st of February, of course. 1793, the French Revolutionary Wars. France declares war on the United Kingdom and the Netherlands. And then 1861, American Civil War. Texas secedes from the United States and joins the Confederacy a week later, the Tinkers. And then we have to whiz right forward to 1939, a British white paper proposing the formation of the Home Guard over here in the UK, which later became better known as Dad's Army because of the average age of the volunteers, was published. And over here, I don't know if you've seen it, Nate, the hugely popular TV series Dad's Army.
Oh, yeah.
Was first aired on the 31st of July, 1968, and ran for 9 series until the 13th of November, 1977. It's a much-loved comedy series over here. 1942, World War II, Josef Terboven, Reich Commissar of German-occupied Norway, appoints Vidkun Quisling the Minister-President of the national government. Hence the term Quisling, you Quisling. So, yes, not a nice day.
It's
And
one of those names. In Norway, you can't name your kids Vidkun.
Well, have you noticed that Adolf has lost its popularity in Germany? So it works both ways. Where are we? So yes, he was terrible. 1942, Voice of America, the official external radio and television service of the United States government, begins broadcasting with programs aimed at areas controlled by the Axis powers. 1942, again, the US Navy aircraft carrier USS Enterprise and USS Yorktown launch airstrikes against Japanese bases in the Marshall Islands. It is the first offensive operation by American forces in World War II. And then we've got 1945. I don't think I've got a picture of that. No, it's the first flight of the Kawasaki Ki-100 Japanese fighter aircraft.
Brilliant design.
Well, until they did something, didn't they? The Kawasaki Ki-100 is a single-seat, single-aircraft monoplane fighter aircraft used by the Imperial Japanese Army Air Service. They do like their titles during World War II. The Japanese Army designation was Type 5 fighter, typical Japanese sort of down to, we're not going to call it Beth or anything. And it was not assigned an Allied code name. But yes, you're quite right. It was one of the most successful planes right at the end of the war that could actually compete with the fighter. What have I forgotten the name of your famous fighter at that time in the war?
Corsair.
No,
Yeah.
it's good against the Corsairs.
Mustangs,
The Mustang. I just had a brain burp there because what they did was they had the Kawasaki engine in. They upgraded it by putting in a Mitsubishi rotary, which made it more sort of. It was up there, but it only lasted till August. Why was that? Because we won. All right. 1949, the Women's Royal Air Force revives, offering women a full professional career in the Air Force for the first time. Because a bit like Women Know Your Limits, during the 40s and 50s. And 1950, 8 Grumman F-9F Panthers land on the USS Valley Forge to complete the first aircraft carrier night landing trial by jets. Now, this is a weird-looking ting.
The F-9F is weird.
Yeah, it's
quite sleek. It's a beautiful airplane.
Well, compared to some of the others,
if you get your magnifying glasses out, people, let's go.
Lean into the screen.
Shut up. Yeah. That looks. Yeah, I mean, it looks good in the old black livery. Oh, jeez.
It's actually a dark navy blue.
Don't forget to turn the light on, Jester. You need the light. There you go.
I'm gonna do a joke, Jester, at my expense. Get it right, okay? Get it right. It's it's a bit chunky. It's a bit chunky. I know it's early on. It's early on, so we'll forgive them. But that's the Panther there.
Yeah, stunning.
And the Royal. This is something I didn't know. The Royal Canadian Air Force and Royal Canadian Navy are disestablished as they merge with the Canadian Army to form the Unified Canadian Armed Forces. So you was thinking, I didn't know that. I mean, if they're called the Canadian Armed Forces, yeah, you'd probably sus, but you'd think they're all separate things. But no, they're not. And last one, 1992, British Aerospace, latest Hawk demonstrator, the Hawk Mark 102D ZJ100 takes to the skies for the first time. And yes, I've got a picture of it. It is an enhanced 2-seater ground attack version with a modified wing and incorporates many improvements to its onboard sensors and
based
weapons.
on the training. Based on the training.
It's based on the training thing. You're quite right, Thomas. He's clever.
Yeah.
Yes. Hold on. Let's get this up.
It's really quite a good, bus.
Yeah. Look at that. That's the actual one there. ZJ100. It's a good-looking plane. Good-looking plane.
Mm-hmm.
God bless it. Right. And that's it. That's what happened today.
From both ends.
But you can see it. It looks like a trainer, doesn't it? Because of it just looks like a trainer.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But it's there we go. That's today. 1st of Feb.
Okay.
Feb. Wow.
Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah. I do enjoy them because I learn stuff as well. It's great.
Who's
Alistair has it right. That's been around for 50 years. 50.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll do my Nate's notes. So a couple of things that I have. This particular book I found randomly at a shop, and it's turned into one of the books that won't leave my library. I'm a big visual guy, and I really like how this book gives you a visual of what was going on. In this case, it is the Illustrated Encyclopedia of Weapons of One. And it's an awesome book. Obviously, I mean, we're talking like, for instance, like the big giant Bertha, cannon. But because
crazy that thing, isn't it?
Because we have Thomas
the US
here.
Navy had them.
What's that?
The U.S. Navy had them.
That's true. Yep.
They were the size of the German ones that everybody knows about.
That's true. And then I also have there's airplanes.
You'll be using that for your
crikey.
yeah.
And I mean, it just continues to go on, and like all the different variations that were there.
Yeah.
So this is
I love the camouflage on the World War One planes. They're different. I know they was trying dazzly stuff, but they just look so cool.
Oh yeah, and even like for instance, all the aces, 15 great aces of World War One. So yeah, this is a fascinating book. Even goes into my favorite. I love all the ships from World War One, the dreadnoughts and everything. All the different classes that were out there. So this is a fascinating book. I haven't found the World War II version of this book yet, but I'm sure it does exist. But the World War I book, I definitely really like that. And I was also going to show. Let's see if I can share my screen. A video that I saw a couple of nights ago. There's another YouTube channel. It's called Mustard, and he talks a lot about airplanes, passenger airplanes, military aircraft, all kinds of fascinating stories. And he tries to use 3D to show some of these aircrafts. Like one of them in particular was one of the videos topics was what happened to the American Concorde, the United States' response to the Concorde, right? And so he created a 3D model to kind of show you what it would have looked like with the wings that would come out and then go back, And so the other night, the newest video I'll share is the story of the USS Akron and Macon, of airships that could launch planes. And this was right before World War II, where some members of the U.S. Navy were trying to persuade the Navy that you could use airships as spotting to go spot enemy fleets. And the story of, I think it was the Macon, because I think the Akron had an accident and it was destroyed, and the Macon was the only one left. And the commander of the Macon was trying to prove to the Navy of the usefulness of these things. And it was
Commander Rosenthal, if I recall correctly. Yeah. And also the Shenandoah was another one that had an accident.
Yeah. And there was, I think it was in it was in the late 30s. Anyway, there was a trip that FDR was making from the East Coast to Pearl Harbor. And they went radio silent on the ship that he was on, and he decided, the commander of the Macon decided to prove that this could be used as a means of spotting enemy fleets, that he went out against orders. He went out and he found the president's ship. And not only that, also one of his aircraft went and dropped a copy of I think it was the New York Times on the ship for the president. And the president was so impressed and thankful. And it made headlines that, the Post Office Service came to the president out in the middle of the ocean, and they didn't get any of the press that he actually found him. So none of the accolades went to the commander and the Macon that could be useful. And eventually the Navy scrapped the program. But it was a fascinating video. So I just want to kind of show for people that are interested in aviation history, it's like that. This is a great YouTube channel that covers that.
It's like, what's the name of the guy again? Mustard?
Mustard. Just
like
the word mustard. Yep.
Ketchup and mustard. Okay. Wow.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
Cool. Good one.
Very cool. They used blimps actually in convoy escort duty during the Battle of the Atlantic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Navy didn't use the rigid airships of German design, actually, but they used blimps. And then after the war, we have the Goodyear blimp, which we still fly them. In fact, they're the same. The cabin underneath these more modern blimps is the same cabin from the Second World War.
Oh, wow.
And they're based down in Florida, straight across the wave at Pompano Beach. So Jester can just drive on over and take a look at them.
Yeah, good.
There is a question of the author of the book. It's an editor. Chris Bishop is the is the editor of this book. So if people are curious to go find it, there was a question in the chat about it. So
yeah. All right. This is talking about the American Concorde and the Concorde we had with the French. Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Supersonic air travel. Get over to America before you think you've left. Wonderful.
Yeah, the key with Boom XB1 is that it doesn't produce shockwave. So you get no sonic boom on the ground.
Really?
Yep.
How would you do that?
That was the reason why they canceled Supersonic in the US, because it kept destroying buildings' windows.
Yeah, windows and nonsense, yeah.
When I was young, they would take off in jets out of Selfridge Air Force Base in Michigan, and we would have sonic booms rattling the dishes and windows in the house.
That's great. What great to be a kid sort of hearing that they're up again, Mum. Oh, that's lovely. Yes.
Oh, that's cool. All right,
All
Jeff.
right, well, I guess I should do my show here. We're down to the top 30 war games of all time, the top 30. So 3 weeks left, two more after today. And then we'll be back to Jester's Jeopardy. Have you ever heard of a game called Tide of Iron, Thomas?
Say no, Thomas.
I have heard of it.
Yeah, there you go. Good man. All right. Just want to make sure all our guests are familiar with
thing here. Actually, it's a lot.
Huh?
A lot of these I don't know these games, despite that they're in the top 100. There's quite a few that I don't know.
I bet you will know most. Are we going to see one of your games in the top 500 one of these days, Thomas?
It would be wonderful, but
we got to get some reviews out there so people will review them. That's the whole thing. You got to review them on the site, or they'll never get better. All right, here we go. Let me share my screen. Number 30 this week is going to be familiar with everyone out there. It's a good old Seminich game. Holland 44, number 30.
This just recently came back out.
Yeah.
Yep. Not too long ago, actually. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Mounty maps. Yes, we love a Mounty map.
Oh, yeah.
Got to get the mounted maps. I actually bought the mounted maps as well. I've not played this one yet, so I can't comment on it, but it looks pretty good. Only problem is it's 2 maps, so it's really tall.
Right. Well, the other map's only like a little bit. It's not.
It's not a full. It's not a full map.
No.
The artist Antonis Karidis does fantastic aviation art as well.
Oh yeah,
amazing guy.
Yeah.
Number 29. Yeah, look at it. Undaunted Normandy. I'm number 29 already.
One of your favorites, that isn't it?
I like this game. Yes, I do. It's a good one.
Don't you like the? Isn't it that you like the Stalingrad one more than the Normandy one?
Keep that in mind, Nate. We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
hold that thought to the copper.
Hold that thought, Nate. But good mention. Number 28.
It's almost as if I could read
starter kit number 1. I'm sorry?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. Advanced Squad Leader starter kit number 1. Do you play starter kit, Thomas?
I do not play that game because if I did, it would be the only game I would play.
Yes, it gets a bit like that. So,
Ralph, you need to play that, man.
I do need to play it.
That should be the next one on your channel.
I mean,
maybe.
I mean, I might have been interested in the game if they would actually make it look better. To me, I can't get past the it's
1970 graphics.
1970s graphics.
Not only that, but they don't give 2 shits whether or not everything's centered on the counter. So you don't have counters where everything's like off center, up or down or left or right. The counters look like trash, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, number 27 up front. You might have heard of this little game.
Long time ago.
Yeah, heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of this one.
That's got its. No, I'm thinking of another one. Is that the one with the cards?
Yeah, this one with cards. Yeah,
that's the point blank sort of thing, isn't it?
Oh, okay. It's the progenitor.
Yeah, I think there's homages there from Sean.
Yep.
Cool.
like combat is a homage.
26, Napoleon's Triumph. Another one I don't play many very Napoleon games. But
It's a block game.
it's got no, it doesn't have blocks. It has
That's fine. That's fine.
What do they call them? Sticks or something? What do they call these ones? Something like that.
Blocks.
It's so no, they're not blocks.
Lincoln Log. How about that?
Lincoln Logs.
Yeah. I like it. I love games.
All right, Andrew, Mike. It's a stick game.
Yeah, it's a stick game, not a block game. All right. 25. Virgin Queen.
Very popular game.
Very popular. Very popular.
But again,
especially conventions.
4 to 6 players, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think a lot of people bring them and play it at a convention.
It's a convention. It's a con game, yeah.
And I understand it's hard to solo these.
Yeah.
Yes, they just released Montodara.
Tanto Monta.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. So it's very similar to the Virgin Queen. At the earlier or later, I forget. Hannibal, Rome versus Carthage. There you go, Nate. Have you played this one?
Nope, have not.
You haven't played this one?
I have not. Nope.
Well, we should play it sometime. We should get on and play it.
It looks cool.
Oh, it looks good. I like the map.
Yeah, it's a neat game. It's also got cards that you can play.
So what's a CDG?
It is.
No, it's not a CDG.
Card
but you have certain cards that you can play, and it's
okay. I always knew this. I thought it was a CDG.
Or
I don't think it was. Let me see. Maybe
you get card assisted games, don't you? Where you can play them.
Yeah, card assisted.
They don't run the game. Like
well, there it is.
Asymmetric card driven game. Oh, it is a card. It is a CDG.
Oh, right. Okay.
Asymmetric card driven game.
We should have asked. We should have asked Stoker. He knows what he's talking about. This man.
I like the little stand-up pieces.
It does look like a
yeah.
The leaders are like little standees. Yeah.
This has been later on republished in a newer edition.
Yeah, by Phalanx, and you don't want it because they terrible. Phalanx is the worst.
Well, I'll let you know when I get going on.
Number 23, Commands and Colors, two ancient ones in a row, Nate. Look at that.
You know, I have this, and I've only played it like twice.
It's a fun game. Me and Tony played it a couple of times. It's a light, fun game. Except unless you don't get the cards you want, then you can't do anything.
It's a good one. You should play it. Yeah, play it online. Yeah. Number 22.
Good game.
Lord of the Rings, the first edition. First edition. Keep that in mind.
Good game.
Great game. Absolutely great game. And you can get it for dirt cheap still, like $30, $40. You can still pick up the first edition, which is crazy. Crazy for me.
Hey.
Look at all the miniatures and the map and everything you get for $30. Are you kidding me? Plus cards and dice and everything else. And number 21, Undaunted Stalingrad.
He wasn't kidding.
No.
So, again, I'll ask my question. So and my understanding is you preferred this one over the Normandy one, correct?
That's not true.
Oh.
I would suggest, if you're new, to try the Normandy one because it's much cheaper. You will notice the price differential on these. If you go to Undaunted Stalingrad, you're paying $80 for the game, basically, about $80 to $85. Well, if you go to Undaunted Normandy, you're only paying $30. So I would try the game out and see if you like the deck building mechanics. And if you do, then purchase Undaunted Stalingrad because I think it's a better overall experience. It's not a better game. It's just if you know you want to play it and you want to play a campaign, then This has got the campaign system built into it. So
Okay.
and it makes it changes it into important things, because as you're playing through the game and your units die, you lose cards, which is normally how you play. But if you're playing on Dante's Stalingrad, when you lose a card at the end of the game, some of those units will immediately be removed from you, and you won't be able to have those cards anymore. So if you get too many of your machine gunners killed, that's just the breaks, I guess.
So there's a North Africa one as well.
I'm sorry?
There's a North Africa one as well.
Yep.
That's what Boy says, if you're new, try that one first.
Yep. North Africa is, I would say, equal to Normandy, depending on what you like. There's also Battle of Britain, which is not very good.
No.
In my opinion.
There's many more Battle of Britain games out. What's that one? Begins with a T. I can't remember it. 2 words.
Yeah. You might want to get a tally, something like that.
I don't know. Yeah, there's that one. That's quite good. And of course, you've got RAF, which is also very good. Yeah. So there's a few of them out there.
And I think there's one that a person I know has spent almost an eternity trying to play.
But
I think it's called Skies. Skies above
England. That's what Skies above England.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a good game though. It is
Ruff, you open that door. You open that door, and I
know, but I don't care, because life, you do what you can when you can, and life at the moment is just a thingy. Yeah, Koi, is that Koi?
Your pilots are getting. Your pilots are.
They're fine. It's like a time warp. They're in suspended.
They're going to retire by the time they get to take another.
Just leave it. Right. What about this quiz? Should we do that quickly, and then we can move on to Thomas's new game?
We're gonna cook through this really quickly, and there's bragging rights. So whoever knows what aircraft it is, type it into the chat. And we're gonna start easy.
Hold on, let me get it up first, because I've got. Oh, that sounded didn't quite right, is it? Anyway, you know what I mean. Let me get the pictures on the screen first, and we'll start off with
maybe today.
Oh, be quiet. No, I've got to. Oh, you know why? Because this is the only thing I don't like about it, is that you've got to actually put it on the thing, right?
See, I wonder if he, Jester.
I don't see it, Rob.
Shut up.
Okay, so this is the Name That Plane segment.
Name the plane.
Yeah, and so anybody who knows what these are, and you don't have to guess this first one, but just for those that don't know, it's an albatross float plane version. Yeah,
I don't think they knew that one.
Yeah, but go ahead and we'll start. And I don't know if you can go bigger on the screen, but
yeah, that's a.
No, I can't. Not really, because it's the size of the window surrounding it.
Just
I've messed it up now.
A little bit bigger.
Get out of it! Whoa, coming for you! Whoa.
These are models actually built by a fellow named Mark Racine, who does them on commissions, and he's done hundreds of World War I models. Fantastic modeler. So yeah, I highly recommend him. But yes, Fokker triplane DR1 Dreidecker. Yeah, and this was, of course, the Red Baron's airplane. So go ahead and click forward to the next, and you're going to see the Red Baron.
Even I know that.
It's the Red Baron's other plane. What is that?
Is that an albatross?
Yes, that's an albatross D5, and it's the Red Baron's actual albatross.
Yes.
Ian.
I think Ian. Yeah. They're all getting it. Yeah, it's one of the most sort of recognizable World War I planes, I think.
Yeah, it's the D5 actually.
Oh, D5 is it? I think
it's the D5. Yeah.
Not the 7, right?
The D2 has flattened sides. The D3 looks quite similar. The D5 is a lightened D3, really.
Oh, here we go, Mr. God. Yeah, there's so many variants with a slight difference to the prop shape or the wing, and you know them all, Thomas, don't you?
No. I when it comes to World War I do not know them all. I will say that. So go ahead and continue on forward. And let's see if people know what this is.
Hold on, I gotta look through my book.
This should be an easy one. It was flown by the 18 victory ace Frank Luke Jr., who was known as the Arizona Balloon Buster. 27th Aero Squadron, flew it in the summer of 1918. And interesting. He scored 18 kills in 18 days. So I guess 18 was his number. It's not a Sopwith, not a Newport. It is a SPAD. It's a SPAD 13.
Oh, well done, Robert. Oh, yeah, Nordic's got it as well. Not so quick looking it up on the internet, though, Nordic, are you? Not as quick as Robert. Right, okay.
Click on to the next one. It's another.
Sorry, I've only got one monitor as well, which they take the Mickey out of.
Ah, yes. That's also the SPAD 13, but that's Guinemer. That's his, his aircraft.
Nice models.
Georges Guinemer, the French guy, 53 victories. Now, what is this?
That's a bomber, isn't it?
Bomber.
It is not a bomber.
Looks like a bomber.
By a fighter pilot, scout pilot, Leno Hawker, who was one of the most famous early British aces. DH2, that is correct. The Airco DH2. Yep.
Yeah, de Havilland. Yeah.
He was shot down by Richthofen.
This is everybody knows this one because I suppose because it's so distinctive, you know. So
well, I mean, the question is, did he get shot down in the air, or did the soldier on the ground kill Richthofen?
Well, that's
Was it Australian soldiers? I think.
Yeah, some Australian soldiers, but this is Leno Hawker, who was shot down by Richthofen.
Oh, right.
In the end of 1916. Richthofen.
I think you've got some other photos of this one, haven't you? Oh no, what's that?
Oh yes. What is
it's
that?
Jester's plane. Oh wait. Stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What is that? Now we're getting a little bit more difficult.
That's a cute looking plane, I must admit.
It is gorgeous. There's no doubt about it. It was the Allies' answer to Immelmann's famous Eindecker. And it has a Lewis machine gun that fires through the prop, but they didn't have the interrupter gear. So it could easily put a hole right through your propeller or knock the propeller out. It's not a Blériot. It is a Morane Saulnier. Yes, it's a Morane Saulnier N. And who was it that they got?
That's Gary.
Helen. Yeah.
Well done, Gary.
Wow.
The fellow, Roland Garros, he had the first idea about this. He put a metal deflector.
Sorry, Paul. If you're not going to take it seriously, out.
Oh, that's mean, Ruff.
But we'll give you a Stuka connection just for that comment. But they put a metal deflector plate on the back of the prop. And
did they deflect back at the pilot though?
Yeah, that was one of the problems. Is that it could actually ricochet backward.
Oh my gosh, I'd hate to be the guy that figured it out.
Idiots. Right.
Yeah.
Next one. Oh, that's the
Where'd that bullet come from?
Now you can see the intense instrumentation of this aircraft.
There's lots of it.
Yeah, there's just one, which is an altimeter.
Little thing on the floor, you just push.
So these are really seat of the pants. Now here's something more interesting. Here's the Stuka connection for our friend who guessed a Stuka, Paul. What is this and who flew it? Go to the next picture. Give you a side view of it.
There we go. Again, they are just the livery of these things are just brilliant.
Oh, I actually just saw it in this book, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Of course
Interesting.
in the book.
No idea.
This is
it's a Siemens, isn't it?
Go ahead.
It's a Siemens, right?
Siemens Schuchert D3. It was flown by Ernst Udet and low on the side.
I got it.
See, books do help.
Yeah.
Reading
was his girlfriend at the time, and after the war, she married him. He's the highest scoring surviving ace of World War I on the German side, with 62 victories. And then in the late 30s, he this is an interesting point, actually. He was the driving force behind the creation of the German dive bombing methods and the development of the Stuka. And so Ernst Udet is yeah.
Isn't that weird that comment was in the chat? That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's so sort of synced up with the chat that they just, it's.
And it popped into my head as a result of that. I wouldn't even have thought of Ernst Udet's role in developing the Stuka. Yeah. But yeah, go on.
Oh,
look at that! Look at that camouflage thing. It's just
very, very tough. Very tough seaplane.
I've seen this before, but I do not know the name.
The Japanese acquired 15 of them after the end of the war.
Hi, Mank Spartan. Thanks for joining.
And it formed the beginning of the Imperial Japanese Navy, and from here they developed all the way up into World War II.
It's a cool looking thing.
Yeah, it dominated the English Channel for a while before the British showed up with another aircraft.
We've got another picture of that. I think, yes, there's a side view.
No idea.
Yeah.
Is that...
No, it's not an Arado. Really unique tail, yeah.
No. These are catching some people out. These are some obscure planes.
Yeah, it's not actually obscure. It was quite well known at the time as the Hansa Brandenburg W12.
Ooh.
And after the war, the Germans had to sell off the remaining ones because they weren't allowed to have them. It was one of those aircraft that was so good that they didn't want them to have anymore, like the Fokker D7. And so the Danish had some, the Japanese had some, number of other countries. But so anyway,
plane across the world, really.
Really.
Yeah.
So then the British showed up with this.
Look at that.
Wow.
I mean, that is not very British. That camouflage, that livery isn't. It's a bit too in your face. Not
there's a tendency for people to believe that
could be the British.
Nordic has it right. It became a very good mail carrying.
Well done, Nordic. Right.
Yeah. But this plane is quite a tank. If you look, there's another picture of it. Oh, it's not a walrus. That's a World War II.
It's another picky. Let me get the other picky up.
Felixstowe, Dragonax has it.
Oh,
take a look at the number of guns on this plane.
That's about 90 miles.
Incredible.
Yeah, for a World War I aircraft, a tail gunner, ventral gunner, nose gunner, each with 2 Lewis machine guns. Some of them only had 1. This is a very tough airplane to shoot down, and it was built tough too. So this was the terror of the English Channel for quite some time, and they used it for hunting Zeppelins and U-boats.
Probably off the coast of Felixstowe, which is on the coast, and it's not a million miles away. It's about an hour's drive for me.
That's right.
This is just it's one of the reasons why I find World War I so fascinating is the amount of innovation and just them trying to figure out what's going to be the best way to accomplish their military goal, whether it's planes or tanks or whatever. And so this fascinating aircraft.
Yeah, I mean they bristling with guns, just fantastic. Fantastic design, actually.
Canvas and string things. Yeah, it was amazing they got off the ground.
Yep. There's another picture of it. Huge,
yeah. Right. Well, look at that.
Now, this is actually an aircraft flown in by Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron, early in the war. It's part of the Luftstreitkräfte, the Imperial German Air Service. It's actually the Red Baron's first airplane, as I recall. Before he became a pilot, he was a gunner in one based out of Ostend on the Belgian coast. It's one of the only Great War airplanes that features cockpit armor. It had 440 pounds of nickel chrome, about 200 kilograms of armor wrapping around the crew in that bathtub-like thing on the top of the wing.
It's crazy, isn't it? That thing they sit in at the front.
Yeah, go to the next picture.
Better late than never, my friend. Better late than never.
Hey,
it is a Gotha, but which Gotha?
Oh, Charles got it. Right. Okay. Well done, Charles.
Go to the next picture.
Yeah,
I was going to go to the. There we are. Oh, look at that! Look,
there's the, and you'll see that there's like this this thing dangling underneath that looks like you drop something down it. That is where you drop the bombs, so they don't hit the wing or the engine propellers. You know, whatever.
That would make a difference, I think. Yes.
So,
I wonder how they figured that out.
so it is the Gotha G1 Ursinus.
Ian got the G1.
Ian got the G1. Yeah, the Ursinus, which is a kind of a bear. So
Brilliant.
now we're going to get into something just beyond belief.
You ready? Whoa, look at that. How did that get off the ground with those wings?
It's another triplane, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're so short.
And it's Italian.
Say no more.
They were on the right side, at least on World War I.
It was very underpowered. 1918. It has a 35 horsepower engine. So the wingspan is only 13 feet. Tiny little thing.
So it had a lawnmower engine in it.
Basically, yeah. It has an Anzani, which is a 1912 engine. And
it does make you want to play it.
It lands at 25 miles an hour. And if you put it in a dive, you can get it up to about 60 miles an hour.
Oh, crikey.
100 kilometers an hour. So basically, you come in, oh, wow, look at that. Dragon Axe.
Your countryman.
As the Ansuti Caproni. And before that, Philip had Caproni. There's another picture of it side. Go to the next picture.
I'm just going to, because I think Dragon,
Yeah, he has the full name, but somebody else guessed it was a Caproni.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really quite a boxy little thing.
Did it have any armaments on it? Or
bicycle?
Nope. No, the idea was that it was they had this concept of flying it as a proximity observation aircraft.
Right. A scout, a sort of reconnaissance thing.
Yeah, it would be so small that the enemy anti-aircraft fire wouldn't hit it. So
it goes so slow.
It is. It's weird, isn't it? Weird. I know that must have been like, cool. When it first was rolled out on the runway, everybody went, "That's so cool! Look at that!" We look at it now and think, "Ooh."
I'm not so sure they would have said that's cool. I'm pretty sure they would go, "That's it." That would probably
no. It's got three.
That'd have been like.
It's got three wings and they're very short and it's very small and it flies. Oh yes, it'd be a great sort of reconnaissance plane. Yes.
Nordic has it right. It's the pizza delivery plane for the You can slow it down to 25 miles an hour and
no,
that's how they did it. That's the first Domino's, 30 minutes or less.
Drop it on them. Crazy.
I can, put a little thing in the back end and start making the pizzas.
They're so small, them wings. I can't believe it. Anyway, next. Oh my goodness me. Leonardo da Vinci, where are you?
A World War I era helicopter. And I know you're thinking, wait, they didn't invent the helicopters until Sikorsky, and that's like post World War II, isn't it, or something?
No.
But no, it's counter-rotating blades, 3 gnome rotary engines that spin through a gearbox, which then turns both of the blades in opposite directions. And the crew member, you can forward to the next picture. The crew member sits in the thing on top.
No. Yeah, that's what I said, Michael. Yeah, it's Da Vinci prototype.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And it was designed for, it's the PKZ-2.
We have some clever people in the chat. This is why
we love Dragon X. Good thing I wasn't giving free games away. He would be getting them all.
Yeah, the PKZ.
Is that
PKZ
true?
stands for the 3 designers who coordinated on this: Petroxy, Kármán, and Jurevec. The first 2 are from Hungary. The last one is from the Czech Republic, or what is now the Czech Republic. It was then Czechoslovakia.
So this is Austro-Hungarian.
So this was developed in Budapest. And the idea was it was tethered to the ground with three cables. and there were no controls. You controlled the angle by pulling on the cables, and it always pulled up against the cables, and it rose up to a fairly decent.
Yes, it wasn't free flight, was it? It was
No.
tethered. Yeah, thank goodness for that.
Tethered. Now the problem that they had with it is that, of course you're hovering there and you get shot at, and the way like a balloon pilot, right? Balloons were too dangerous, was the view, and so they thought, well, we'll develop this helicopter thing. So then normally when an aircraft approaches you and you're not in an airplane that can be maneuvered, you bail out. Now what happens when you bail out through the spinning propellers?
You get chopped to little bits.
It's like a double Cuisinart. So there is no bailing out through the blades.
You force your people to stay in there.
Unless you can jump out 8 foot or whatever it was.
I have no idea how it was even possible, but the generals decided not to acquire them and continue. But
Yeah,
it is the world's first helicopter.
I think that's what Dragonox has put. Yeah,
and there's actually, go ahead forward to the next picture. There's a couple pictures of it flying. There's another. You can see the engines.
Oh, blimey! There it is in the flesh, so to speak.
The actual thing with the propellers spinning. Of course, the camera has stopped it, but you can see the blur a little bit on the propellers. And go to the next one, and you'll see it up in the air.
Good grief! You have to be mad.
Yeah, you can zoom in a little bit on that, maybe, or not. It's up to you. But I think it's.
Hold on. Let me just move that. That's it. I have to move the picture. See, it's awkward with one monitor.
If you use your mouse wheel, you could just zoom right in.
Yeah, it didn't fly that high, but it's.
I'm learning all the time, Nate. Thank you so much, my friend.
Yeah. Windows 95 is really tough.
Didn't have those little tweaks and bells and whistles. You see.
Yeah, that's a droid. That's a droid waving. Somebody else said R2D2 earlier on one of the guesses. So
it looks weird, doesn't it? It looks like it shouldn't be allowed.
It should not be the generals rejected it. Click to the next one real quickly.
Probably a good thing.
This is Mark Racine. If anybody wants to contact him and have a model built, then that's your best guy.
Well, you just supply the model you'd like built, and he'll build it and paint it for you. Yes,
he'll get you the model and everything.
Oh, right, blimey!
Package it up and send it to you in the mail. He's quite a good at it. Do you know what kind of what airplane that is?
Well, it's French. I gotta go to the book.
This is the last one. We're done here.
Yeah. Wait, is this a Newport?
Yes, it's a Newport.
Is it the 28?
No, it is not a 28. 28 has a round fuselage. Newport 17. Dragon Axe has it correct.
It's literally the one above it.
He knows he's playing.
Oh my God!
Yes,
he does know his airplanes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, he's World War I airplanes. Yeah, I mean, Michael's got it as well. Yeah, they've all looked it up now. Look.
It could be an 11. I'm not sure. There's not a whole lot of difference between the 11 and the 17, or the 18, or the 23. There's very slight differences.
And we can guess that Dragonox. It comes across. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
God, that was fun. Thank you, Thomas.
These are great.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
It's hard to know a lot of these aircraft. They're just so outrageous in their designs. And you got to remember, 1903, you've got the Wright brothers, and 11 years later, we're at war.
It's not far from that little beach hop, is it? That happened.
Yeah, 15 years later, you've got Fokker D7s. I mean, it's unbelievable how quickly aircraft developed.
I remember when I first visited, one of the times that I visited the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. Afterwards, people I was with, we went to the Huffman Prairie where they would go and practice. And I remember being told there, I thought it was hilarious, but they thought that property lines went up into the air. And so if they accidentally flew over someone's house, they thought they were trespassing. And after they land, they would go and apologize for trespassing on their property.
Well, the law wasn't defined at that point. That's
right.
True.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Dragon X, a great idea.
Wow. Wow.
He
I
knows
did
his
for that.
airplanes. There's a history there. I think he knows his airplanes a lot
Yeah,
better
he
than
does
he's letting
I'm quite right. Yeah, 66 years after that, we're on the moon, allegedly.
on. Allegedly, yeah. There was an Indian guy who wanted to prove that we hadn't gone there, and he hand built a telescope specifically with the optics to look at the surface of the moon in detail. And he figured he would show that nobody had ever landed there, and he found footprints and
Oh dear. And also that little reflector they left on there to measure things, when they zap a laser towards it, Yeah.
Oops.
Oops, yeah, indeed. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for
Yes.
that, Thomas. That was great fun. But that sort of brought us nicely, segued into your new creation.
A world premiere.
Yes.
thank you.
Another world premiere on the War Room. And
And
again, 60, 70 people are crazy. So
it is
so
crazy.
It's
This
so,
show,
we love you all. And there's nothing you can do about it. And we're so pleased you join us most weeks. And if you haven't hit that like button, give it a smash for old Ruff. Needs all the help he can get. So thank you. Right, so let's have a look. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look and see.
yes, B-52s are undergoing. Ian just asked, will they be in service 100 years? Yeah, they're undergoing engine changes and wing upgrades right now.
Are they really? Good
Yeah.
grief.
I love
Why,
that.
why change something if it does the job? Yeah. If the world changes, you change with it, don't you? New plane and all that. Right. Let's get this up and start this off. I'm looking forward to this.
So the new game is a World War I title, Great War title. And
Ooh, Black Flight. Oh, wow. Nice artwork.
now,
Very nice.
if you've ever heard of a guy by the name of Raymond Collishaw, you can advance the
I'll just
picture.
put it up for you. You've been sending out copies. There we go. Thomas, thank you. Sorry.
Go ahead to the next picture.
Okay. Yeah. Just cue me, Thomas, and I'll do it because I don't know how long you want me to keep on it.
Raymond Collishaw is a Canadian. In fact, most of the Sopwith triplanes. There's a first triplane of the war, combat triplane of the war, were flown by Canadians. The Royal Naval Air Service was formed in competition without the approval of the generals by the Royal Navy as their own air service.
Yeah.
The Royal Flying Corps did not like that, and they wanted them
No.
rolled in, but it didn't work out, and the Navy said they had their own thing. And then in 1917, in April, the Royal Flying Corps really took it on the teeth, and they lost 250 aircraft, which was more than half of the force in the course of 1 month.
Ooh.
And they called on the Royal Naval Air Service, the RNAS, to bail them out or to give them a breather. They all expected that the naval squadrons would turn up and be shot out of the sky, just like the Royal Flying Corps. But these were flown by Canadians. The Royal Naval Air Service had
God bless the Canucks. That's all I can say.
Had recruited in Canada because most of the RFC pilots, they were recruited from England, and so they were getting all the best from England, so they got them from Canada. And then the Canadian pilots, they were sitting on the coastlines with very little action, flying a couple of times a week and building a lot of flight time and a lot of experience flying. And then they upgraded to the Sopwith triplanes in February, March, and April of 1917. And in May, they showed up to replace the RFC on the front lines. And Raymond Collishaw is the leading naval ace in all of history on all sides. And most people don't know his name.
Wow.
He's the Red Baron, basically one of the top 3 British pilots or Commonwealth pilots.
Commonwealth, yeah.
He's the Red Baron, basically, of the British side. You've got.
We had a chat about this earlier, Thomas, didn't we? Didn't his squadron shoot down the most, tremendous amount of planes?
And what happened is that you can forward to the next picture here. They showed up and took on. That's Collishaw's. That's a reproduction of Collishaw's third Sopwith triplane, and they showed up and took on the best the Germans had. Manfred von Richthofen's wing. At that point, he was moved up to a wing commander. From Jasta 11, he became they reorganized and created JG1, which is a wing of aircrafts, because most of the German squadrons were only 7 airplanes. And the British squadrons were supposed to be 18 aircraft. The French were usually 10 to 12. And the Germans had very few in a squadron. And these guys showed up, and everybody thought they'd be shot out of the sky. And instead, they shot down 87 aircraft in the course of 11 weeks. 87 German aircraft, which is, think about it, that's more than 7 squadrons of German pilots shot out of the sky by these guys in the course of that little bit of time. And nobody ever talks about these guys. And of course, the Germans, they saw the triplanes, and they went triplane crazy. They designed literally dozens of triplanes. And one of them, the Fokker DR-1, is the only one that worked on the German side. And it became the most advanced triplane of the war. But that came out really quite late in 1918. This is 1917. It was out of date, replaced by the Sopwith Camel by the end of 1917. So they never fought against the Fokker triplanes, but it's quite an interesting aircraft. Go ahead and forward it to the next picture. One of the triplane squadrons, and there on the bottom picture inset is the captured one that the Germans managed. They knocked one down. And I agree, Wings is quite good. The old BBC show Wings. They captured one, and they went triplane crazy, and they developed dozens of designs, and but that's the actual picture of the one they captured. Go ahead and forward to the next, and we're going to go through these very quickly. This is the main map. It's based on actual maps of the zone around Ypres, or Wipers, as the British used to call it, and this is north of the Arras sector and the Ypres sector. So the location of every aerodrome is correct. All of the lines that connect the boxes are following roads and landmarks that they actually flew to and from. So there's a lot more to this map than just putting boxes on the map. And on the right side is the aerodrome map. It's one of the few aerodromes with runways, and that's where they were deployed. It was called Droguelon. And it was, of course, it was in Flanders, and now it's in France, but quite close to the border. And those were rolled cinder runways. And Michael has it right. It's definitely this is my new game.
Yes, that'll teach you to go and get that'll teach you. Yes, it's his new game.
Wow, Nordic. Good Lord. World premiere, and he stepped away from his computer. What in the hell is he thinking?
I know.
The Blue Panther version.
Just in case people don't know, why is it called what it's called?
Yes, so Raymond Collishaw was the flight leader of B flight out of the 3 flights that were in Naval 10 or N10, and his little group shot down between them something like 40 or 50 of the 87 that were shot down by Naval 10. So these little 5 pilots basically single-handedly turned the tide after Bloody April.
So why black flight?
And they called it black flight.
Ah, right.
The 3 flights they would have blue flight, green flight, and red flight. Usually red flight was A flight, green and then blue flight would be C flight. And he decided to paint the nose and the wheels and part of the tail black, and they called themselves Black Flight.
Gotcha. Right.
Yeah. So they were known as the black triplanes, and the Germans recognized them much more than the British. The British newspapers of the day didn't really credit the RANS very much. They didn't credit the Canadians very much. And so these guys are mainly forgotten by history. I mean, of course, historians know about it, but the average person doesn't have a clue that this is the leading naval ace in all of history.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Commonwealth generally in wars, tends to be not purposely forgotten, but, which is
now this game.
A lot of the forces were made up from the Commonwealth,
Yeah, really, they were. Yeah.
Or the Empire was then.
The Canadians were more than 25% of all of the British pilots in the Great War. So go ahead and forward.
Hold on, you're getting to, Charles, it's not quite out yet, but you can get it from Amazon.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have this one out in February.
There you go.
I have 2 games that I'll be publishing in February if I can keep it together, which is Achtung Jabo finally and Black Flight. Both should be coming out this month.
Excellent.
Nice.
The Hissy Cat's in. This is a close up.
Yeah, he was late. He did say sorry that he was late.
Yep.
So
this is the close up of the map, and so you can see the
cool. Yeah.
You basically move on the map until you spot something, and then or it spots you, and then you'll move to the dogfight map. This game is inspired by Phoenix Night.
Don't make his head any bigger than it is.
Oh my God!
So he was.
We'll never hear the end of it now.
He was playing Mag 23, and he said something that's really stuck with me. He said, "You know what I really love about this game is the narrative content."
Yeah,
and I started to think more and more about Mag 23, and the narrative is there, yes, based on what happens in combat, but the personalities of the pilots are not at all understood. And in the Second World War, of course, all the pilots, you have standardized training, 250 hours for the US, and you're out in the fleet and so on, and a lot of discipline. But in World War I, there wasn't a whole lot of discipline. And these pilots were extremely unique characters. I mean, they had mascots like lions and, all kinds of crazy things and very undisciplined. And they showed up on the front lines with 10 or 15 total flight hours before they went into combat. And they suffered a lot, of course, because the average life expectancy in April and May of 1917 was about 11 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you were dead. So go ahead and forward.
I've moved me down because when I put a question up, it doesn't obscure your lovely bearded face.
Nordic has a point here, because what if the ground spots you're playing first? Some of the little known stories of World War I, the Germans were on the defensive. They didn't actually venture much across the lines. The British were doing offensive patrols, or OPs, running into German territories. And they could never figure out why the Germans always had so many airplanes all the time flying to intercept them. But what was happening is the Germans put a network of reporting stations along the trenches. And every time the British flew over in units, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 aircraft, they would call in and they would say, at Zoav Wood, we have, 8, British airplanes at approximately 12,000 feet. And then the Germans would launch 10 or 12 to intercept them. So they always had the advantage. And they also carried much less fuel because they were on the defensive and much closer to their own air bases. So, in fact, the British never figured this out during the war. But the Germans were playing them, and they had far fewer airplanes than the British thought. So it's quite an interesting thing. There's no radar at that time. Anyway, go ahead and forward.
Yeah, no, I think Hissy was being a bit not Hissy. Nordic was being a bit Nordic. Flippant, I think, is the word, Thomas. Okay. Take the notes.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go to the next picture.
Yeah.
On the bottom, you have weather. Those who've played SOE Lysander and Overflight and such will know this weather track system, and also Game of Drones. They'll know this weather track system. And the moves on the right, you have 30 moves, but they're not moves of one space. Each time you move, you roll a die, 6-sided die, to see how many spaces you move. And then that determines, if you roll a 6, it's 6 minutes of flight time. If you roll a 1, it's 1 minute of flight time. But it determines the distance between when you roll to spot enemy aircraft, and and so on. And so you can quite easily run out of fuel doing your assigned patrol routes. And all of the patrol routes and such are historically accurate in this game. Go ahead and go to the next one.
Yeah, I think that's what this month, you reckon, don't you?
This month.
Yeah. Not long to wait, Dragonix. Not long to wait.
This is actually a British trench map from 1917. This forms the backdrop of the actual map. and go to the next picture.
Just can it, play time?
Well, if you play all 11 weeks with up to 4 patrols per day, it's going to be a long time. But a single patrol can be played in about 20 minutes. If you video it, maybe it's going to be 45 minutes to an hour. There'll be a box game from Blue Panther with a canvas map at full size.
Lovely. And one designer to the next.
Number of players. Now, this is an interesting question. We're going to get into this in a moment.
Okay. Whoa, you've opened up the can of worms, Mike.
A big can of worms in that question. Now you look at this actual map. These are the actual trenches that were in place. And these maps, the entire front line in the Ypres sector is completely depicted with these trenches, and the names of the trenches and everything are there.
Yeah.
So you can scan down the map and look for those. Scroll forward.
Crazy. Hey, look at that one at the top left.
What's wrong?
Don't look at the bottom left, though.
So when you
look at that.
So what I've done is I've created a card-driven mechanic based on some things that Jester said about the use of cards to define powers and such. But I thought, really, rather than powers, let's make it powers and personality. So you draw vice cards, which are red, and trait cards, which are this green, blue, turquoise color. And pilots, they basically start with maybe one vice card and one trait card. And the more bad things they see, the more vice cards they draw. And the vice cards can have a real bad effect on them. I mean, you're going to be, you can be eagle-eyed Eddie, but maybe you've got target fixation. And there's 45 vice cards and there's 45 trait cards, and they are customized to Canadian pilots using Canadian terminology and Canadian slang of the time. And so eagle-eyed Eddie is something you would have heard in Canada in 1970.
You notice I got more kills than you, Ruff, right?
Yeah, all right. A couple of questions. I know we're getting near time, but I just want to, where are we? Solitaire. How many planes per patrol?
Okay, so you would normally fly 1 or 2 flights, and a flight is up to 5 airplanes.
Right.
Usually they flew 4 planes in a flight, and they would fly either 1 or 2 flights on a mission. Sometimes you can fly alone. Some of the pilots...
You're taking a flight out.
You're taking
one plane.
A flight.
Okay.
So, and you've got to manage your pilots. They have, some of the guys, they go out on the town at night and they're not very good in the dawn patrol as a result.
Some of them sit at the bar for weeks on end over there.
Yeah,
I think the answer to William's question is no, because there are other games that use point-to-point things that get across maps with aircraft. I mean, Western Front Ace uses that, but of course, this is nothing like Western Front Ace. But it uses similar things, right?
Scroll on forward. So this is an entire flight of 5 aircraft. The 6th box is there with an X through it in case you want to play a 6th plane in the flight, a full flight. But this is these are actual examples of some of the cards. And
see you later, Matt.
Yeah. See you later, Matt. Thank you. And Phoenix is in there, and you can see that he's grabbing the Mickey. He's got
also got 23 kills.
23 kills, but he's got 4 vice cards. Just one of them on the top is
typical thing that's getting all the vice cards. We know what he's like. Yeah.
You're just picking up a lot of vice cards. The more bad stuff you see, the more bad vice cards you get, and the more kills you get, the more trait cards you get. But there's a max of 2 trait cards and an unlimited number of vice cards. Go ahead and scroll forward, and we'll go through them very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Hstoric. So these are some of the cards. You can just sort of, every 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah, just let them read it for a bit, and we'll just, Eagle-eyed Eddie again. What's this 3 at the top here at the top right?
Level 3, which is the most trait card. And so you have level 1, level 2, and level 3.
So the red ones, the higher the number, the worse they get.
Right.
Oh.
And the turquoise ones, the higher the number, the better they get.
Right.
Jesus Murphy, that's a very Canadian term. And the combat system is very similar to Mag 23.
I think we're coming on that in a minute, aren't we? With the pictures after we just, but they're looking good. They, here we are. There's the counters.
Wow.
So this is a Sopwith triplane. These are big counters as well. They're about an inch high and over 2 inches across. So
they look great.
Big.
See you later, Alistair. Thanks for dropping by, my friend. And look, they've turned up.
And the canvas map, yes, there'll be a canvas map as well with Blue Panther. I see they're in the chat. Yep, Blue Panther is going to be doing a lot of business on this one because that canvas map is beautiful.
We love the canvas maps.
Yep,
they are looking lovely. These nice. Look lovely.
The German planes, some of them pilots are named, and some of them they are not.
Ah, right. Sorry.
And so you have just regular pilots and double aces and triple aces and quadruple aces. And then you have the named pilots, which are some very famous personalities from 1917.
Do they get any special advantages?
Yes, they do. They get more attack dice because rather than like VIX, the number of VIX, and then that determines how many attack dice you get, the individual pilot has 3 attack dice in this case. And Richthofen has like 12 attack dice or something. It's crazy.
Wow.
Oh dear.
So you can imagine these rolling
combat thing, yeah.
This will give you an idea of the scale. There, I've got my property of the Royal Air Force pen laying on top of the combat.
That's the RAF. Yep.
Yep. And you'll see that red Albatross D3. That's not Richthofen. The first guy that painted his airplane all red like that was Allmenrieder. Who took over as the squadron commander of Josta 11 when Richthofen moved to JG.
They weren't big into concealing their aircraft, were they?
Let's were
paint
not.
The brightest color we can. I'd be fine. I'd paint mine yellow. That'd be great.
And earlier we had somebody mention that the Halberstadt doesn't get a lot of recognition. And you can see there's a black Halberstadt.
Mm-hmm.
And the aces would fly the black Halberstadt from time to time. If their plane was broken down, they would climb in the black one in JG1 and take it up. So that's really a tough opponent. Go ahead and forward.
Wow.
So this will give you an idea of some of, so there's Richthofen in the top right, 12d6. Allmenrieder has 7d6.
Thanks, Christoph.
So you can imagine, you take your flight of 4 or 5 Sopwith triplanes with 1 or 2 d6 each, and you run into Richthofen. You're not, you're definitely outgunned. And there's the black Halberstadt in the upper left. I mean,
they look great, don't they?
Thank you. These are all actual paint jobs. There's the black.
You've also got the fact that these paint jobs and liveries were just out of this world.
Yeah, they really were. There's von Richthofen's airplane. It was not all red at that time in May of 17.
The Albatross has such a recognizable shape. Yeah.
12d6. Are you insane?
And this, while doing research, I came across this advertisement for Email Light in the Royal Aero Club's magazine, their weekly club newsletter called Flight. So Email Light was actually in June of 1917 advertising in England as aeroplane dope that you use to cover the fabric of your biplanes and such.
And if you made model airplanes that flew, like I did as a kid, you would dope them with dope. You'd spray them with water to shrink it, the tissue that you used, then dope it. And my goodness, it was great fun sniffing that stuff in your bedroom. You were high for hours.
This was non-poisonous. So email has been around. Email Light has been around. Right. And that's it for the images.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Wow.
Well, this looks great.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm buying it. I know I'm buying it. Yeah.
Everyone
let's Thomas.
Let's
go. What are we waiting on?
It looks like it really hit.
You can go finish this up. Let's go.
Yeah. Don't hang about. We expect this out next week.
Yeah,
All
Phoenix
right.
Night will have a good time with this one because the narrative, when I've tried it and played it, is through the roof.
Well, I don't know. I want to play SOE Lysander because it's got some guy called Ruff in it, So I just thought I'd do that. But then
there's Ruff in this. Looks like.
Well,
I saw your name.
I know, but that might just be for the publicity shots, So
you fill in your own names of your pilots, or
name.
I provide the full squadron roster of the original name,
nice.
which you can use, and as well, some of the cards have a black line through those. Those are the actual ones.
Oh, you were sorry. You've only got a couple of minutes left, but you were saying that when Mike's it's one. How many players? You were saying, oh, I'll get back to that.
Well, it's one player solitaire, but this is the first of a series using the same rules, but each one will be a different country with different trait and vice cards that are personalized to that country.
Right.
So you have the French, you'll have the Americans, you'll have the Germans, you'll have the Italians, and you'll have the Hungarians. And I don't think I'm going to do the Russians, but maybe.
You missed one out.
Well, the Canadians, of course, are in there. And the RFC is their own.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Right.
So we have the British one.
I think we met the Ottomans, right?
Yeah, the Ottomans as well. We will actually do the Ottomans, and I have a map of the Ottoman territories down south to address that.
Oh, okay.
Already in hand. So, and there's much less combat in the Ottoman territories.
Yeah.
But you'll be drinking coffee with the Ottoman pilots.
No,
smoking a little bit too much.
It looks wonderful.
And then you can play against each other. Then, rather than playing the campaign, you can take the Royal Flying Corps and fly against someone else who's flying.
The French, basically, yes.
Yeah, and you can take the French and fly them against the British. And
I'm joking.
Yes.
So, and there will be balloons, but they're not.
There will be balloons, Hissy, so you'll be fine. Yeah,
there will be balloons, but they'll be in the American edition.
Right. So this is going, like you said earlier, this is going to be available sometime later this month, and it'll be on Amazon, correct?
Yeah, on Amazon, and then as soon as we can get it over to Blue Panther, I will, and they'll be doing the box set probably as soon as they can get to preparing it.
Cool. Very cool.
So it's and they've been doing a fantastic job with Game of Drones. It's selling like hotcakes. So it's been really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, thumbs up, everyone. That would be lovely. That's a good thing, Dicey Dave. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming on.
Yep. Quickly, in a couple of sentences or less, guys, what you up to next week, Nate?
Trying to play a game.
Thank you.
Any game.
No, go on, Nate. Go on.
No. I'm trying to get to play any game at this point. Since I didn't get to do any last week, so we'll see. Hopefully, I get to something.
Jester, 20 videos next week.
Somewhere between 15 and 20. Yes, we're trying to get out 20 this week. I'm sure we will try to do our best. Tonight we're going to be playing Brass Lancashire for you guys out there. Looking forward to some Lancashire.
Sure.
So trying different things, playing different things, and tomorrow, and I'm serious, we're doing a review of Tally Ho. So look forward to that tomorrow.
Oh, Thomas, quick, your first plane.
Oh, are you doing it in my first plane that I ever flew in?
I assume that's what he means.
That would be a PT-22, all yellow.
Good
color.
Oh,
yellow, like Rob.
Good color. Yes.
Training plane, PT-22.
You just made Ruff's day.
Yeah. So once again, I'll just be trying to do what I do when I can, when I can. So, but thank you
nothing
so
this
much.
week. All right, good.
Well, maybe. No, we've got Game of Drones. Looking through that very quickly and showing people what that's all about.
Are you getting together with Tony this week?
No, not this week. He's out with his wife on a weekend. Who does that when they're married?
Well, I don't know.
Anyway. Yeah, it's like they're courting. So yeah, he's doing that. No, God bless him. He's out with his missus. They've got rid of the kids. Good luck to him. And then the week after, we're back with Panzer. So we'll do it then. I'll get what I can done for next week. But thank you, Thomas. I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
To answer Nordic, I've never crashed.
70 odd people watching at one point, and all seem to enjoy it. And your quiz went down, blooming excellent. So all I've got to say, just finish off. Thank you, Thomas, for putting up with this nonsense. Thank you, chat, as always, for sticking with us every week and making this war room grow every week into something that we're proud of. We're proud of it, and as always, you guys in the chat and the people who don't, because there are people that watch that don't want to comment, and we understand that. But whoever you are, whatever you do, when you watch us, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So until next week, which is over at Jester's, any idea of what the topic is, or you can let us know?
I have to come up with it.
Oh, it's Nate doing it. Yes,
Yep.
I'm Jester's, but it's Nate's topic. Okay.
Yep.
To be advised.
That's right.
So until next week, take care, everyone, and we'll see you on the show next week. Till then,
Bye, everybody.
bye-bye.